Hey, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday night. It is ArchaeoX. Thank you for joining us. We have a guest tonight. We have Jeff from UpNorth. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Jared, how's it going?
Pretty good. We're gonna get into this with everyone. I want everyone to know that Jeff and I got to meet at the Ancient American Preservation Society.
Ancient Artifact Preservation Society. I always
Yes.
I always say ancient America too, so you're not alone.
I've said it so many times the right way, and then I've said it so many times now the wrong way. And full disclaimer, I've spoke at the conference. So thank you everyone. And it's coming up in October. It's coming up the first week in October, correct?
Yes. Hold on.
Yeah.
The first week in October was at the second, third, and fourth, I think it is. Actually, you got it right in front of me.
Yeah.
Third,
Tom
fourth, and fifth.
Elmore. Yep, Tom Elmore is speaking again with Eva from the GeoNav group. They're going to be going over some really cool stuff. I don't know. Are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, me and my dad are going again. So
some of the stuff before we get into it with everyone. Yes, we are going to be talking recent discoveries of Peruvian underground tunnels. We're going to go over some other news. I want to thank CKC Good Food Catering for sponsoring us. Ascent Nutrition. We're looking forward to getting them on board. And what really is a fabulous place is the America's Stonehenge. Dennis Stone is going to be coming on as also one of our sponsors. So I want to thank him preemptively for helping ArchaeoX. And we're going to just basically get right into it after you tell me, I think, how much do you want to give everybody your background? Because I don't want to spill anything about it, because you have found carvings. I'm saying generally carvings. I'm going to say you found artifacts. You found things. How much of it do you want to chat on, any of it? Or do you want to talk a little bit about what you do in Upper Michigan?
yeah. So after that conference last year, was being the first one I went to, met all you guys, and really kind of opened my world to how much bigger the ancient copper mining 3,000 to 5,000, probably even longer years ago in the UP actually was. And I always knew about it, but I never knew it was like this whole big possible conspiracy on how much copper was mined, where it went, if it maybe fueled the Bronze Age. And I just started buying more books and reading on it and researching. And then I met some other friends when I went to Peru. And a lot of most of the people on that crew were all YouTubers. One of them, Michael Collins, the Wandering Wolf, he's the one that put on the tour. And just kind of made me start wanting to do more, going digging into stuff, trying to find any connections, going out in the field, making videos on this. And eventually I did. So what I do is I reading up on the history, any stories and stuff like that, and I'll talk about them, try to find as much information on the topic I can. Then also up here, I go out in the woods around mines from usually around the 1800s, the more modern mines. But the reason they chose these spots to mine is because there were ancient copper pits, ancient copper mines on these locations. So I just try to go out and try to find any artifacts if I can, which the only artifact I have found is a copper knife and Valence metal detecting. That was pretty cool. I got it. It's up there in the case there.
All right, look, so you're bringing it up. So let's rewind just for a minute. So these ancient copper mines, the whole point of the conference that I went to, that you've been going to, this is about the Phoenicians, and Chris and I have talked about this on the show. We've interviewed Chris Feinfrock and all of his extensive research that led up to finding Michigan copper in England, which is such a huge deal, and we've heard nothing about it. But here we are. The mines you're talking about are the very mines that are supplying Bronze Age copper in Europe, throughout the world. So the mines you're physically going to and doing the research are just discovering what you're finding. Why don't you, I don't know, talk a little bit about it, and also exactly, I didn't want to bring up what you found because I didn't know how much you wanted to. You found things before, but this is significant.
Right
It's so significant, though. Yeah, you found an actual Bronze Age dagger, basically.
Yeah, it is pure copper. It's not bronze. Unfortunately, if it was bronze and it was that old, that would blow it out of the water. I mean, that would bring a lot more legitimacy to the theory, which I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot already, but because they figured up half a billion up to 1.5 billion pounds of copper was mined during the Bronze Age and before, yes. And the mining initially stopped around the same time as the collapse of the Bronze Age in Europe, and that's kind of where one of the first, I guess you could say, evidence kind of lines up for that. But
okay, yeah. So you're seeing, based on that, I don't even know how they would get to the number, but this knife that you found, it was what, about 15, 18 inches?
Not even.
I mean, it wasn't, not even.
No, it was about 6 to 8. Yep. It was
really?
Yep. It wasn't.
All right.
Wasn't on state land or anything. It was on private property, just to clarify right off the bat. So it wasn't any national forest or anything.
Yeah, sure. It wasn't. But you go out and look. You've also found mounds. You found indications, because there's a theory about the Mayans being, or the Aztecs, or I don't know. Because some of the mounds, there is just Mound Minnesota, Mounds View, Mound. There's thousands and thousands of mounds in this area.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how it just kind of stops right at the Wisconsin-Michigan border for the UP, and same as Lower Michigan. I mean, most of the Lower Peninsula was all covered in mounds, and then all of a sudden it stopped. Apparently,
Right.
There's a handful of small burial mounds that are actually known about and talked about. I mean, in Gregory Little's book, I think there's 2.5 pages on Michigan mounds, because in Lower Peninsula they got decimated for farmland and cities. If there were any up here, I was gonna say, if there were any up here, which I believe there is, one big one, they would have been flattened by loggers, miners, starting in the 1750s, 1760s.
Well, you think you found a few?
I think I found one for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I like how you're being humble about it. You're definitely out doing it. It's one thing to talk about the work, but I just have always loved that from the minute we met, you're out you're doing this pretty much consistently, monthly. You're searching for artifacts and looking for things.
Yeah, I was out not last weekend, but the weekend before. I went a few places. In my recent video that I put up, I was from Sunday last week when I went to the Adventure Mine in Greenland, because there's an actual confirmed 100% ancient, like 3 to 5 or 10,000-year-old mine right in the same cliffside as the main Adventure Mine, and they do tours there, and I've taken the tour 2 or 3 times. They've never mentioned it once, which I found kind of interesting. Yeah,
not
once. Not part of the tour, not that I recall, and I recently took it a couple years ago. So, and my cousin actually is the one that told me about it, that it's up there. And he just took the tour about a month ago, and he said, he's like, they never said anything about it. We had to ask where they are around here. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
And I know we've been talking about copper mines. Jeff from Up North, he's in Upper Michigan. He is right in the heart of where most of the Bronze Age, and what are we talking about? Over 1 billion tons of copper.
I think it was 1 billion pounds, not tons. I may have misspoke earlier, but they said estimates between, well, one of us might have, I'm not sure. But estimates between 500 million and 1.5 billion pounds of copper removed. Now, there's a lot of different factors that come into play to get those numbers. And it's mostly they've taken the average yield of copper in the modern mines on the same type of rock that the older ones are in. Then they take it by size and depth, and they just take the 1.5% of copper per, I think it's like, ton of rock removed. Or it's like, I think 5% was the highest they had. So, I mean, it's a whole range you could go beyond, and it's really hard to accurately measure that because of the amount of mines that are unknown, the amount of pits that were not known. They know of up to, I think, is it 5,000, 6,000 to figure mines and pits.
That it's such a crazy amount for such a small area, but it makes sense. What's your what we're really bringing for everyone tonight is this is where you're from, this is where you're at, this is one of the areas you're in, which a lot of people think about going to historical areas. I think it's cool that you're right in the midst of it all.
Excuse me.
But one of the reasons we're talking tonight is Peruvian tunnels, new stuff. So before we get too far along, I wanted to dig into some of the tunnel. And I know you wanted to share some of the screen on this. I'm assuming that you would like to present.
Yeah, so there's an account on X called Weird Old World, and they've been covering the excavations of they're called chincanas around Cuzco, and I guess the locals have known about them forever, but archaeologists never admitted they were there and started excavating until recently that we're aware of. And I think it was in July. July 24th is when this here, I'll just share.
Kind of blew up.
Yeah, and then I started seeing articles and people started talking about it a little more. But I'll just share this.
Yeah, do you want to share the?
Yeah,
you want to share the screen? All right, here we go. Yeah, this is you take it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like I said, for hundreds of years, there were tales of Cuzco's hidden tunnels, labyrinth stone passageways connecting sacred Inca sites. For many of the tales are mere folklore, but a pair of Peruvian archaeologists appear on the verge of proving the story is true. So, and when I was in Peru, our tour guide, the main in-country tour guide, Marcia, she was telling us about that. She said there's tunnels all over underneath Cuzco, under Sacsayhuaman, from I think what's the Temple of the Moon, Temple of the Sun, all the way down Kenko and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, we were even walking through a few of them. There's just tunnels just right through the rock all the way through, like 30 to 50 feet long. They just cut out or carved out for whatever reason. And like this is it looks like upside down stairs.
Okay.
That's actually what I'm on there. And it literally looks like it was busted off and something like busted it off where it was and flipped it over. So that's pretty interesting. But I mean, there's just cuts and stairs and these blocks they cut out of the rock, just massive. I mean, you can stand in these holes and they're perfectly cubed chunks taken out.
So these tunnels, when they started excavating, did they just run for miles?
So they figured they do. The ones they started here, I'm going to share that Weird Old World on X. I can pull it up here.
And these are not. And for everyone, I have friends in archaeology in Mexico. I have a really good friend of mine whose father was, I think I can say this. He was the head of one of the major universities' archaeological divisions or departments. And this friend of mine was very, very much into sports and had zero appreciation for the fact that, and this is well before it was understood that there were tunnels under Teotihuacan, and he was in the tunnel systems with his father going through them, and he didn't care at all when he was 17. So this is literally 25 years ago. He's underground at Teotihuacan going through tunnel systems that literally made the news maybe 2 years ago. And then they were well known that they're just everywhere, and they weren't. It wasn't grave robbing. Anyway. We're gonna take a look at this. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this one was updated on August 30th. It's a line of at least 5 equal-sized carved blocks, a few meters underground, could be the roof of a collapsed tunnel. And I guess there's a piece of bone. So that's
wow.
Yeah.
Those are big blocks.
Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about Sacsayhuaman, I mean, these blocks are huge.
Yeah, some of them I think, some of them are allegedly approximately over 600 or 700 tons. These are significantly different. Like where the people you're looking at right there in that photo, they're in front of those big formed blocks, and up to the left you can see the piles of rubble, which don't look anything like. It looks like it's a whole nother set of rocks behind the building up above the two. Yeah, up there where you're circling. Yep. Those are not the same builders. Those are just not the same builders. The people who clearly built, that's just not the same technology. So the hole they're standing in front of is one of the spaces they found.
No, so what this is one of 3 holes that they dug in front of the wall to see how far it actually went. And that's Graham Hancock, if you didn't see that. But
okay.
So this is the first pit. I think they had 6.2 feet till they reached the bottom of foundation of the rock.
So look at the blocks too, and it's like, why is there a block in front of the block? That block had to have fallen off from above. One of the theories I've had all along is that the foundation isn't just a foundation. I think that some of the blocks, like that block that's in front of them right there, that's in front of the wall, I think this part of the wall was more exposed. And that's the other thing. It's like, what is the biochar? What is the contact? What is the biology? What's the consistency? What again, we've done no OSL dating, no carbon dating of any kind. I'd be really curious what those dates come up with. But anyway,
so they actually are soil sampling, dating the soil. They have soil samples out right now. Okay. So they're gonna, I think they took soil from either the right at the bottom or maybe underneath the bottom rock there. So let's see, soil samples have been collected. Yep, so they're gonna do OSL, optically stimulated luminescence. But I don't think there's been any more updates on it since. Yeah, so here's a video of them going in. I think this one's on top. Or on the other side.
I like the dog laying there.
Right?
It's just
hanging out.
There. So this is those blocks are huge.
Mm-hmm.
And they look pretty, I understand that it's buried, but they look very stumbled. They look very happenstance.
Oh, it's some of the sites around Cusco. It looks like a bomb went off and just blew these structures to pieces. I know they are prone to earthquakes, but I mean, there's structures that have stood the test of time that are just as old, if not older, that are still standing pretty sturdy. Granted, there's still blocks all over the place, but
like, when you look at the oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like at Oleante Tambo, they have like a graveyard of blocks down below.
Yeah,
just everywhere. Like I said, it just looks like a bomb went off. I think it was Kenko too. It's just weird. It looks like everything was split and strewn all over the place in different directions. It's really cool. To find,
it's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, these tunnels, they you find it on TikTok, and what we were talking about before the show is just when is it going to make mainstream news that they're even doing it? 6 months from now, a year from now.
I know. I think I've seen 1 or 2 articles on it on my news app on the phone talking about it, but that was in July when they first started really writing articles about it, I suppose you could say. And that's why I follow that world because they're keeping up like daily updates on it as long as there's something to update on. So
you've been to Peru, you've been to all these sites. What was your general feeling about Peru in general?
Absolutely.
What did you
It's just because it's so high up in the mountains. Once you get past the altitude difference, I mean, I think Cusco is at 13,000 feet. So as soon as I got off the plane, it hit me like a wall. I didn't know which way was up. Started getting dizzy, but it eventually kind of came around. Drink some coca tea and shove some coca leaves in your cheek and head on out.
And what cocoa that's supposed to bring you down, and would that ramp you up?
Yeah. Caffeine helps with altitude.
Oh, cool.
That's yeah.
I did not know. Good to know. Those are some things I'd like to get there, and that is exactly something that would have not been in the travel guide. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know how much they can advertise it outside of the country.
How long have you? I mean, you planned some other trips. Do you want to talk about? I don't want to get off of Peru yet. I guess I will say, did you go to Lake Titicaca at all?
No, I didn't make it down that far. We just mainly stayed around Cusco and then down to Oleante Tambo, Aguas Calientes, which is how you get to Machu Picchu. You take a train from Oleante Tambo to Aguas Calientes, and then you hop on a bus, and they take you up the mountain, and then you walk off, get split into your groups, and walk into Machu Picchu.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That I've heard about to go to Machu Picchu. I've heard you should go at like 3-4 in the morning. Otherwise, the whole train system and everything gets so backed up that you are not going to enjoy your time if you don't leave truly early.
Yeah. So we stayed the night in Aguas Calientes, and then that's where we got on the bus. So in the morning, I mean, we got down there, I think 6 or 7 o'clock, and there was already, I'd say maybe 500 people to 1,000 people standing in line to get on the buses. It is unbelievable. So everyone has the idea of getting up there at the same time, but it seemed like once you got up there and started spreading out, it kind of you didn't feel as cramped. But yeah, earlier the better for sure. The way as we were walking out, I mean, it was shoulder to shoulder when we got back to the bus stop. People going
when
in.
you're or when you're up close to these megalithic ruins, I got to jump ahead. So this is good news for or good information for traveling, but for the actual sites, what was your thought on the actual the technology, the high technology, the blocks that seem to be really well done? Did you?
It's there's all these theories. I mean, there's like the natron, is it natron theory, which is using the what is it, the salt glass or whatever I think it's called, and they're forming the blocks kind of like a cement, and then by creating like back to granite or diorite or whatever.
Yeah, there's these theories that they're not poly.
Yeah, which actually I'm trying to find a picture here. The joke was we called them reverse snubs. That's what Michael was calling them.
What, they're not belly buttons? Is that just a belly button?
Let me make sure I don't have any personal information shown here before I.
It's an innie or an outie. I don't know what else to.
Yeah, it's. Hear me.
Did you get? I mean, when you were up close to them, did they energetically feel anything while you were standing by them, or
just
anything weird with your cell phone?
No, I didn't notice anything weird with my phone, but I mean, just that fresh mountain air was really nice. I mean, where I'm from, there's not a whole lot of air pollution at all, but it's a completely different world once you get acclimated to the altitude and just breathing that fresh
once you get
air.
up. Yeah, that kind of footage. I mean, I wonder if that's something we're missing. You know, I'm always trying to piece together how did we live in the past, and I wonder if we did have a oxygen preference. I'm wondering if we maybe made a preference to live at those higher altitudes.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's some of these places were minimal vehicles. Yeah. I mean, I think it was the Maru people, Maro, something like that. But they're up there. They still dress in the same way they've done for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. You know, just and then spinning alpaca fur, making blankets and clothes and all sorts of little toys and stuff like that for selling to tourists on the way through. But it was refreshing once you got past the altitude.
Should I be sharing this screen now?
Yeah. So like that. It's like pushed in on some of these. Then there's the nubs. But there's all these like depressions. It's kind of weird. Like so.
No, I wonder if is it erosion or is it? Oh, anyway, finish that thought.
I don't know, but so one of the things that Mike was saying was he thinks if it was maybe like cast or poured or whatever, that maybe it was sticks because they thought maybe they use these huge sacks or whatever, and they pushed like timbers up against them to hold it up in place while they poured it in, and that was just a depression from whatever block they used to lean against it. That's one of the things we were just talking about and discussing. So I don't really know.
It's interesting. Every time anyone shares a personal picture, we always get I always feel like there's new information. I understand it feels different when you're there, looks different, but I do think that there's something to be said about seeing these things at different angles and different lighting. And
a guinea pig.
Okay, I won't even ask for an explanation. Why?
It's one of their delicacies is guinea pig.
You're kidding. You're in Peru and you're not kidding.
Nope.
That's a first, man. I did not know that. So real time for everyone.
It's koi. They literally have guinea pig farms. that people in the villages, they raise guinea pigs to sell them to the markets and restaurants.
No.
Yeah.
No. Did you eat that?
Oh yeah, it was actually not bad. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to work around all the little bones, but once you get to the meat of it,
What meat? It's a guinea pig. What
well,
meat?
they fatten them up down there. You try to find.
That is not. What do you eat as a dessert after that? Is it like do you keep eating or?
Yeah, whatever they have on the dessert tray.
Okay, so guinea pig is a delicacy. So how do they feel about other chinchillas and or sort of was there other delicacies on, or is it just guinea pigs that get the shorthand?
It's mostly the guinea pigs.
Okay,
And,
great.
yeah, I actually had it twice. I didn't eat it in the full pig form the second time. It was guinea pig drumsticks.
Is again, how much leg is on a guinea pig?
Pretty thick. That much.
A little more than a chicken wing, then. All right.
Yeah. It's basically a little bit longer than a chicken wing. Trying to find.
Yeah. So we're still talking about Peru. The tunnel systems are going to be fascinating over time if they figure this stuff out. If they go anywhere, I don't know. Did you hear anything about else where those tunnel systems were going, or no? They have no idea. They're just still digging, right?
So from what our tour guide Marcia was saying is they go from like each temple, like even temples down to the center in the heart of Cusco, underneath Sacsayhuaman. She said they're everywhere. So
Wow.
I mean, and these are just the ones at Sacsayhuaman that they're digging up right now. I mean, who knows how far and how in depth they actually go.
Okay.
So trying to find
we're doing, all right. Well, if you find it, you let me.
Yep. Sharing right now.
You got it?
Yep. So we were talking about the size of the blocks down there.
Yeah.
It's me and my buddy Andy. Just and it wraps, that whole thing wraps right around the corner there too. It is absolutely
the curvature of the corner of everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and the whole place is huge. It's actually really, really long, and it wraps around a corner too on one end, and just doorways, entryways, plus all the structures at the top that aren't there anymore. They're just basically the bottom stones of the foundations. I don't know if you've seen pictures
there's
from
a
above
question
where it has a circle, like a spoke circle, and they had it all blocked off, so I couldn't get up to it. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, all I'm going to say is just how deep does it go? I mean, they go look at one portion of a wall. We don't actually know how far it goes.
Right. Well, just that those three sections they dug out so far, the deepest one they found was 6.2 feet. And who's to say that's maybe not the deepest? It's a huge wall.
Did you meet
whatever
any of
you
the
want to call it?
archaeologists? Yeah. Did you meet any of the archaeologists there? Did you see anybody that was doing any work while you were on site?
Not when we were down there. Not at any of the places, other than at Machu Picchu, down in the center, like a courtyard. They had a tent, big green tent around an area, and they said they're doing a dig right there, but they covered it up so people couldn't make guesses of what it might be or make assumptions or theories. Which I mean, that's going to stoke more theories, if you ask me.
Isn't this exactly what, or isn't exactly this podcast the reason to have those theories like discussed? Aren't we supposed to discuss that right now?
That's what I was under the assumption.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think they were digging up? Because were they in the middle of the wall? Were they in the middle of the yard, or away from the walls?
Let me find it. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it. Try to find it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe they have. I'm trying to find it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a picture of
tunnels there.
Yeah, a picture of the dig. Did you see anybody working when they had the tent up? Were they there working, or it was just tented and covered to keep it?
Just tented and covered. There's a picture of it right there.
Okay. Oh wow, that's big.
Yeah. That's what the tour guide for Machu Picchu told us, is they covered it up because people were making theories or asking questions, and they just didn't want to share it with the public, I guess.
So I've worked with I've gotten firsthand. I've worked with people. I'm just going to say archaeologists, and I've gotten firsthand. I don't mean I've worked with them in the field. I mean I've gotten firsthand accounts of them digging at places and finding elongated skulls, and having different groups. We'll just say groups in places come and take away what the finds are. Literally, just take all of it and don't leave it. Oh yeah, that's common. It's not a theory. It's not something that just happens, but it's something that is actually a reality. It's actually, yep, it happens.
Okay. Yeah. Peru Ministry of Culture.
Yeah.
I can't read the rest because I don't speak that little Spanish.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, from here, that looks like it's at least 50 feet long. That looks massive.
It was a decent sized tent. Yeah.
I
wish you had another picture of it, but I don't think I did.
No, I think it's great that you at least documented one spot that they're actually doing work in an area. It's not obviously on the wall line, and it's exciting that Graham Hancock and those people were doing that work along the wall. But this is just, again, we don't get this information in real time. It goes into wherever it goes into this pit of benevolence of I don't know, of the ether.
Yeah, because I check now and then online to see if there's any news on Machu Picchu, and nothing archaeologically. I guess there was protests this past weekend or the other day where they were like blocking off the train tracks.
Why?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet, but I got a friend, Sophie. She lives in Peru, so I can ask her and see if she knows anything on it. But
that makes.
I mean, I hadn't heard about it until, because we have a group chat from our bunch of the people that went on our trip last year, and we still talk. And one of the guys sent I think it was a headline or whatever, saying they were doing that. Like I think they're even undermining under the tracks and everything, trying to stop something. I don't know what was going on. So I haven't looked into it yet.
It's always something different. You were planning a trip to the Middle East, or what was there? Or where are you at with your travel plans?
Egypt.
Go
Yep.
ahead. But yeah, when are you thinking?
I'm going in November. So.
Okay, so it's a bit out November. There. Okay. Yep. All right, cool.
Yeah, going with Wandering Wolf again.
Okay.
And Forbidden Frontier crew, Nerdrotics, bunch of friends that I made in Peru before, and some I've made after. So.
All right, yeah, cool.
We got quite a crew.
How many people?
I think around 40, 36 or 40 in that general area. So decent size group.
All right. Well, the Peruvian stuff is amazing. The tunneling systems is amazing. Have you been following any of the news, the weird news of what's been? I try to keep up on some of the craziest stuff that's been going on, right? And there's always something where you're like, okay, should we talk about it? Should we not? And I definitely have had some stories and things where I don't choose to share, not share. Is there anything off grid before I was going to bring up a couple things, but it all depends on whether or not you're where you're at with what you're finding. As far as anything other than the tunnels, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up about Peru before we move on?
Just if you get a chance to go.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I think we kind of covered the basis of what's going on down there with all that. So.
I don't understand, the absolute, it is so incredible, and I've never been. So there you go, everyone. Have not been, but there is a site older than Göbekli Tepe that's been found. It's one of the, okay. So for everyone who doesn't know, Göbekli Tepe, when I started writing my book, you could go on the internet anywhere and it was 26 to 36,000 years old. All day long, you could just look it up. It was there. And now, even if you use the Wayback Machine, it doesn't exist. It's the statement is it's 12,000 years old, and the vernacular about it would be Göbekli Tepe, 26 to 36,000 years old, tens of thousands, 10,000 years older than Stonehenge. It's amazing. And then eventually they're like, the vernacular was, well, it's older than the Younger Dryas. It's older than 12,000 years. So they just knocked off 20 something thousand years, and then eventually it became the number 12,000 years. And I won't mention the Netflix specials where suddenly they're saying, well, it's at least 12,000. And they stopped saying at least. They started saying, well, it's 12,000 years old. And I watched this happen in the last 5 years. The Tepes, which is a pot-bellied hill, there's Göbekli, there's Neroli, there's all these, there's these 6 Tepes, which again are acres and acres and acres of intentionally buried either sacred sites or just cities. They're all in Turkey. And the reason I'm bringing it up, I just wanted to know if you had heard about, and again, there's plenty, but they have found one. This is the second year of, I'll just tell you what it is. Second year excavations at Mendik Tepe. And I might be slaughtering it because I'm not Turkish, everyone. So it's Mendik. Yeah. So various size, smaller non-T-shaped standing stones that differ from the Neolithic monuments. But excavations at Mendik Tepe in Turkey entered their second year. I'll just skip all the other details, but they're definitely what they started to see that the site again, it's similar to Karahan or Göbekli, but one of the most noticeable differences is the absence of the large T-shaped monoliths. So one of the, and before I start speculating, I'll just add a couple. The team sought to determine whether the small structures served for storage or food preparation, or whether the 4 to 5 meter buildings were residential, and whether the larger ones served as residences or ritual structures. I wanted to I didn't want to go through the whole article. My interest in it is that the Tepes are, I think, part of a massive country in that period. There wasn't just, these few cities. I think they were interconnected, and there's clearly, you can make speculations on food storage or how they lived or what was sacred or what was a holy site. Everything was a holy site. If it made it to today, it's a holy site. It's never like KFC, right? It's not just like the shopping mall for Neolithic flint tools or something. It's always, or we're assuming that, right? Because at 26,000 years, whether it's 12,000, again, Göbekli was, I don't know. Should I repeat this? Have you heard? Okay. Do you know much of the origin story on Göbekli?
I know
it was the
the farmer found a rock sticking out of the ground.
Yeah, which turned out to be a pillar. And then Klaus Schmidt, for everyone. Yeah. So Klaus Schmidt excavates a site for 44 years from Germany. His wife was also an archaeologist who is still alive. Klaus just passed away about, 5 years ago. He had a heart attack and he passed away. But what's interesting to me is that you have just Göbekli Tepe, only approximately, they keep saying 5% of the site's been dug up, right? Well, okay, you've had 49 years now to dig, and you've done nothing except put in concrete roads for you to see that Göbekli Tepe is a tourist site, but they're not doing actually the excavation work. And then the World Bank is in charge of it now with a plan of, they said, approximately 150 years to excavate.
Yeah, I've been following along with all that stuff too. I know Mike and Jimmy did a couple of videos on that. Of course,
yeah, he got banned from Turkey. Remember that?
Yep. They may or may not have gotten back.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've highly suggested that he should not go back.
Yeah, they stirred up some hornet's nest, but it needed to happen.
It did, because and Jimmy did speak with Klaus's widow about the concrete rows that were put down for the tourists, the trees that were because of Jimmy, those trees got removed.
Yep.
I mean, they planted. I've watched this happen in Arizona, by the way. I went to some Mesa, some of the Pueblo Indians some of the areas that I'd seen when I was a kid. I was there doing some work with Rex from Leak Project, and we were out looking for the G.E. Kincaid Cave. And while I was out there, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go stop at some of these places I went to as a kid. I was shocked to find that a lot of the ruins have been grown over with shrubs and trees. And they said that they were, in quotes, preserving the ruins. And all I could think is that these trees and shrubs and brush are just destroying what's actually physically there. It's not
Mhm.
realistic. You can't say you're preserving something if you're allowing the roots to destroy and uphinge whatever's underground or destroy the blocks that are there. It's just it seems rather I'm going to say thoughtless. That's acceptable, right? That's not
Oh,
too bad.
absolutely. I mean, you could even just look at like all the temples down in Mexico, all the pyramids and stuff like that. Look at the roots going through and just splitting all the blocks and everything. And roots get into basements and split walls of houses.
Yeah.
I mean, and it doesn't take long. It could be maybe 20 to 50 years, but eventually it's going to get
Well,
in there and start splitting if it's close enough.
yep. I've seen it in as a contractor. I've seen sewer lines. I mean, massive fist
Oh,
size roots, and
hmm
it's like, how does anyone's bathroom flush?
yeah. Anything underground that's near a tree root system is going to get filled up unless it's hard enough or blocked up or encased
Right.
enough, like a lot of sewer pipes. But even those, like you said,
Right.
you get one little crack and then root will sneak right in and blast it wide open.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what happens. And so you see these sites that are the very popular tourist sites or sites of antiquity that are of interest to people, like the Pueblo Indians. It's and you want to go up half the size of these cliffs and see these homes that they built way off the ground, but these are popular places, and I don't understand when people don't ask the questions like, hey, why are you letting them get grown over by brush and shrubs and trees? And it's destroying the memory, it's destroying the history, it's destroying the blocks and ultimately our past. It seems unfortunate.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
But you're all right. So, all right, I didn't mean to take us down a down note. I
Yeah.
brought up Göbekli because look, Göbekli Tepe. The reason I brought up the history of the antiquity of the site,
Mhm.
26 to 36,000 years old. Klaus Schmidt had done the carbon dating, not just OSL or anything. They did extensive carbon dating. So if this site is claiming to be older, then that means if 26 to 36,000 is our minimum, what does older mean? If it's older for sure, then we're talking what, 40, 50,000 years old? Is it the baby Göbekli Tepe? Or is it just like an offsite that's just parallel to everything? It's just
Mhm.
where the less fortunate lived. You don't get megalithic pillars. You got to live with the small stuff.
Right.
You haven't leveled up to live at Göbekli.
Yeah. I mean, and the people could use that argument of, oh, they didn't have that technology to build this stuff that far back, 40, 50,000 years. But there is that, was it in Zambia? I think it was. They found that wooden structure that was clearly designed and like notched to fit together. It was 470,000 years old.
Okay. Jeff,
Mhm.
this is not something I've heard of. I don't
Really?
think.
Okay.
No, 470,000-year-old wood structure.
Yeah.
And this was it petrified at this point? They
I
found the structure.
don't know if it was petrified.
Well, then okay, for everyone,
Right
it
there.
just has to be devoid. It has to be devoid of oxygen.
Yeah.
So was
So
it in?
yeah, it's currently here. I'll just share it. Currently, the oldest known wooden structure.
Okay, because I
It's
remember
a
there was some
Colombo
stuff.
structure.
I've seen things in. Is this? It's not in Serbia. No.
Nope, Zambia.
Okay, a wood structure. So it was in water. It was in mud. Something. Let's see.
Uh,
Okay, it
High
was
water
found
levels.
around the Colombo River.
Yep.
The structure itself found in an area. Okay, below the river association. Okay, interlocking. It consists of interlocking wooden blocks of large fruited bush willow connected by a notch securing one perpendicular to the other. Well, okay, we're describing buildings, so let's just stop there. And is there another picture? Okay.
Not on Wikipedia. I'm sure there might be.
And that's true. Andrew's watching. Hello. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sites. There's so many tepes. It's not just one. We were just talking about that. This is fascinating. So the numbers on this put it at almost 500,000.
Yeah. Which in scientific terms, the main agreed upon Homo sapiens being around for what, 300,000, 350,000 years?
You know what? They're pushing the number back.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Hey, we went from 200 to 400.
Yeah. And just like civilization, we went from 2,000 to 6,000 or 5,000, and now at least 12,000 for sure.
Look, this is amazing. It's so exciting to see things. There's so much to know in the world. I've not seen this before. This is really cool.
Yeah, wow. I remember hearing about it when it first came out, and then it kind of dropped off. You never really heard anything else about it since. I mean, people talk about it. Not a lot of shows I watch and all, and then they'll bring it up. But I don't know if they found anything else. I haven't seen anything.
All right.
So, yeah.
Commentary wise, we won't explain this. So here's one. Canals.
Okay.
This is true. What I want to bring up about that, we were talking earlier about Turkey, but about canals. There are canals all over Arizona, New Mexico, Florida area. It's crazy from a satellite imaging standpoint how much water travel there was in Africa. Also, I guess, we're talking about Africa right now, but one thing that's true is that ancient canal systems have been extremely extensive across the world, and they don't exist anymore. And the remnants of them you can frequently pick up by satellite. So I'm really curious. Some of these things that have been buried, I'd be really, really curious what the canal systems or water systems and the river systems, we always assume we see a river and we're like, well, it was always that river. It was always there. And it's like, that's not true. So when you dig into it, this 500,000 year range, what happens when you dig down? Like, I'm saying, you know where I'm going? Like where was the rivers then? Where was all of it? It couldn't have looked as same thing for everyone listening. We're talking 500,000 years ago, almost 476,000 years. The Doggerland was the area between Scotland and France that was a single continental area. And that single continental area was there at least 18,000 years ago. It was there up to about 6,000, 5,000 years ago. And now the coastlines we look at all around the world, so we're not looking at the same depth where like this tree is. We're not looking at the same coastlines. People who lived on the beach, people are drawn to the beach, and it is literally miles and miles away from where the beach lines are now. And so we have this very, don't you think it's a really confined way to describe history?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you think about look at what we do know for sure in the past, we'll say up to 12,000 years. Water, the oceans all went higher, everything else underneath. We really don't know a whole lot other than, like you said, some of the Doggerland stuff. But that's a blink of an eye. I mean, even 500,000 years is a blink of an eye, but that is such a massive jump up from 12,000 years that is basically being under a microscope right now.
Yes, and it's not, and we're really skewed about how we tell ourselves our history.
Mm-hmm.
And historically, that's one thing. And we always think, okay, yeah, notch trees. We can imagine it's so hard for my brain to not go to the loinclothed primitives banging rocks together and carving out trees. And it really just is frustrating to like have your mind pre-programmed to go to that when we have these incredibly machine vases coming out of the step pyramid in Egypt, and we have what we see in Peru. And Okay, we were talking Lake Titicaca. Well, we were talking about Cusco and 13,000 feet, but Lake Titicaca is the same thing. 13,000 feet, more than normal salt water is in that lake. And then you have the depths of it containing pyramids and structures. So it wasn't always full, but it was clearly the kind of Ollantaytambo, you mentioned that, but Lake Titicaca, Tiwanaku, you're talking about an area of the world where they're based on star alignments. They're saying 18 to 36,000 years. But what is everyone doing at 500,000 years? Because it's not going to be the only site. This isn't just the only notch tree construction site 500,000 years ago. There has to be more. But geologically, were we at a low point? Like you said, it's a blink of the eye, but were we coming out of massive floods? It's just, I guess where I'm dwelling is just, there's just so much in our mind's eye of the map of the world that we see. It's so hard for us to imagine the map of the world being different than what's here.
Yeah. And this structure was built, or at least around 300,000, 350,000 years before the beginning of the last ice age. So who knows what it was like, what the world was like even at that time. You can take in consideration, like even plate tectonics, other different, like crestal displacement, if there was other glaciers and other ice sheets moving around somewhere. So
yes, that's the other thing. So there's tectonic plate shifting. We were talking about that. Okay, so we recently, Chris and I did an episode on biogenic origins of oil. So is it natural? Is it artificial? And one of the things that's in oil is helium. There's no naturally occurring helium. It's a noble gas. There's no naturally occurring helium in anything in nature. You have to put it there. And then there's these, in quotes, processes for it to become, existing in petroleum. And there just seems to be a list of, I know I'm digressing, aren't I? Just a little.
That's it.
And so I think that Colombo structure here is a good example, along with the times where Michael Cremo from Forbidden Archaeology will talk about the antiquity of human skeletons and human artifacts, but again, primitive tools being found 60 million years ago. I mean, 1.7, 1.8. We're here in Oklahoma. There's at least 4 sites within 2 to 4 hours of the site that we're in now, or the location I'm in, that are some of Michael's spoken here about some of these things, and the finds that are in Oklahoma specifically. But we're talking between 131617 to over 2 million years of human artifacts. This is a time frame where, again, 2 million years ago versus 500,000 years ago, there's 1.5 million years. So did this Colombo structure become a primitive structure because something went down 1.5 million years before that? I think like this because I think we don't think enough. I want to speak it out loud because I don't know if everyone thinks like this, if they consider it this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at at least the known written historical record of civilization, as I'll call a modern civilization, starting in Mesopotamia, Sumer and all that. Was it 6,000 BC or 6,000 years?
Yeah. So it's not like,
and that's minuscule. Now think about how many of our civilizations we have right now, starting at 6,000 BC, could have existed in the last 500,000, 2 million years.
Right. And risen, fallen, turned to dust. We don't know anything.
Yep.
And the reason I was bringing up go ahead.
I was gonna say, how many cataclysms have maybe wiped out entire civilizations? What was here in some of the places that the glaciers moved through and just completely flattened, ground to dust?
Yep, just even for 500,000 years. And the reason I brought up oil, the reason I brought it up is because all of human history, for all the plate tectonics and shifting, 14,000 feet is it. That basically everything that's ever existed in our alleged thought process of humanity should not be deeper than 14,000 feet in the ground, based on how the earth churns itself. There shouldn't be anything below that. So we have oil showing up below 14,000 feet. It's showing up with things in it that make it mysterious. But my point is that all of potential human history, all organic. Okay, let me take that back. All organic history of the planet Earth and human is at least 14,000 feet and up. So if we dig 30 feet and we find a 500,000-year-old tree, what happens? Yes, and they pulled up artifacts and tools, and including anatomically correct humans from coal mines. What do we do when? And yes, this is also true for everyone who doesn't know. There have been oil wells dug where items have come up from within the drill, and that should not happen. So it's one of these things where it's like, what are we doing to really test? I don't know. It's not like we can drill 14,000 foot. All I'm saying is that we can't drill 14,000. You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
We can't do 14.
Yeah.
No.
What was the deepest hole we've gotten?
Ooh, so the Russians.
I'm sure you know this one. Yep.
Yeah, so the Russians, the English, the Japanese, and the Germans were all, and the Americans, we're all trying to get to the deepest point. The Russians, I think, came closest. Did you get it up?
I did.
It's like almost 40-something thousand feet.
40,230.
All right. So the Russians, and that they put a cap on it. They ran out of money. For those that don't know, that was part of our oil research. One of the things that got really interesting, they don't know this, they pulled up liquid out of that. One, a lot of people don't know this. They got water from that low, like actual liquid water. They also got liquid hydrogen, which they were not expecting. And so, here's the thing. I don't think we should look at a drill bit as a needle to the earth. I really don't know if we should be puncturing wherever the hell they think they were going. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if we want a hole that low. But yeah, liquid hydrogen, and they also had water come up from that depth.
Interesting.
Yeah, which again, these are things about, we have these theories about how much water is on the planet, where it is, if oil is self-replicating. What's weird is that if it's self-generating, it's problematic for the futures and commodities market because they want to have a predictability of the replenishing reserves. And then, of course, there's the Save the Earth group that doesn't want oil to be an endless supply. And then, of course, there's the whole, I don't like it when my house shakes because they're fracking. And you got to wonder whether or not the Earth is losing its hydraulic lube, if that's what oil is, and it's keeping all the plates like moving.
Well, that's an interesting. I never thought about that one.
I mean, it's a lube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we use it for?
Okay. Besides making cool Patagonia shirts that are like too much money. Not that we wouldn't love them as a sponsor.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're well, therein lies the question then. So we have human, all organic history should not be below 14,000 feet, which means oil should not exist past 14,000 feet, and it does. It shouldn't have helium in it. It shouldn't have a bunch of other things in it. But then again, that's one mystery. The other mystery is you dig down and you see this tree that's 500,000 years old and it's all notched up. But Michael Cremo is writing about vases being yanked out of marble that have silver inlay that are 600. This is a layer of marble that's 600 million years old. So now what? It's all makes people uneasy, I think. Do you ever get uneasy about it?
Sometimes. The only reason I get uneasy, though, is because I'm trying to wrap my head around the multiple civilizations rising and falling, getting decimated, basically deleted off the face of the earth, and then starting again. Or how old things actually are, how vast everything is.
because I don't want to be a part of that group either. I mean, if anyone's listening, it's like part of figuring this out historically. I don't want to just know. I would like to avoid it. I mean, I would like to avoid being the victim of it. I would like to avoid our society going that direction again. I would like to avoid that kind of failure. I don't want to be a part of that kind of catastrophic failure. Personally speaking.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, all right. So we have something. I'm pondering the tree thing for a while. I'm gonna, because I feel like some of these things too. By the way, is I know I mentioned that our coastlines are different. Wouldn't it be cool to find that exact kind of tree off of 50 miles off the coast of something buried in what is currently now sea sand, but in reality was the coastline from 100 million, 200 million, a billion years ago, and like the Klerksdorp spheres in South Africa. What else is in Antarctica? Why can't we go to Antarctica? I mean,
aliens.
Well, great way to take it there. Right.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on there. I mean, you could say it's because everyone has every country superpower has their hands in it, saying, "Oh no, it's only us, only our governments can do stuff here."
I want to modify your alien statement. There's also Nazi aliens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Operation High Jump.
Yeah, there's High Jump, and we've had yeah. All right. So we've had Brad Olson on. No reason to dig into it. Hey, Rex. It's Rex from Leak Project. Ack. Thanks for joining us. Well, I love that Rex jumps in right when we're talking about Nazi aliens and Antarctica and High Jump. And here comes Rex. It's like I rang a doorbell for the esoteric. I can hear him laughing right now, actually. But yeah. So, of course. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, there's definitely historical moments, but one of the other things that I've really appreciated about reading Michael's Extreme Human Antiquity, one of the things that he's been pointing out that I'm spending more, I love Antarctica so much, Rex. We were just talking about Brad Olson's coming out with a new book about it. I think that what's interesting is the explanation for human, not just human, but all bio DNA markers and how the possibility of creating I don't want to get into a whole like creationism, intelligent design conversation, but the facts are that the 100 chemicals that would have to come together for to make mitochondrial DNA is so insane. It's not cool. It just can't happen. So I feel like Antarctica, believe it or not, I'm going to tie it in Antarctica along with Nazis, spaceships, aliens, and underground people's city things. I think that Antarctica clearly has enough preserved pre-known history technology that they are terrified of us going there. Absolutely terrified of us figuring it all out.
I mean,
maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
all right.
Yeah,
well,
Antarctica's a weird one.
All right, so we're not going back there. You're not going there anytime soon either, and we're definitely not going to be. I mean, what else can we do? There's that guy who just flew a drone down there, but and Rex has a really cool, definitely has a cool drone or two that I thought that wouldn't it be great if we could just get close to Antarctica, just send out a kite. I guess.
Yeah, I know there's you can take tours down there and you think you go on the ice shelf or something like that, but you can't get all the places that aren't even visible on Google Earth. So
right. There's not I watched early on when Google Maps was just open and they weren't correcting it yet. And then Mary Joyce and there were so many people doing those looks and those comparisons. They were on YouTube forever. Did you see all the before and afters of before they clean up a map or something? Or
yep, and they'll be like copy and pasted clouds, stuff like that.
Yeah, suddenly you couldn't see anything. This is definitely something Rex could digress on for a while, but it's not clear to us what our past is. And we're speculating on something that somebody has a big box full of the facts on. And it's just really frustrating to know that Okay, it just hit me. What if our history isn't terrifying for one reason? What if it's terrifying for like a number of reasons? That sounds like an obvious statement, but what if it is like aliens plus no, there is no like point plus it is all random plus we just got lucky plus an asteroid.
There's a lot of different. I don't want to say that. Yeah, no, just even thinking about. I mean, just knowing that, especially like the asteroid, we get smacked at any time, and not even
You're
know what hit
closer to
us. You know,
no, you're closer to Greenland than I am, man. 19-mile wide crater in Greenland. Wouldn't that have been a bitch to be for
Whoa.
there for?
That would, yeah. Well, I mean, like the was it Apophis? The asteroid Apophis? Is it? Yeah, Apophis. That'll, I think, is see it 2029. Then you have the 3i Atlas coming through in December, and they're both big enough to wipe us out, if not do really big, some good damage. I think Apophis
Wait,
would
you're
basically
saying
wipe out anyone that
wait,
wasn't
you're saying
underground.
yeah, you're saying we're done by
And it's
December?
just people don't think about that. Maybe some of us are crazy for always thinking about that possibility of just pure destruction. But at a random, you never know. It's one of those things.
Okay, so
Oh, hold on. Last year, you're muted.
am I?
Yes.
Am
It
I
was weird. It
on?
just cut out.
No, not on.
Nope. Cannot hear you. Did you bump
Oh,
keyboard or something?
okay, no. Um, okay, not
Oh,
there
random.
anymore. Nope. Um, can you hear me now? Can you give me a nod?
Okay.
Work?
Sounds good here.
Can you
Says
hear me?
Nathan.
Give me a
I
nod.
cannot hear Jared.
No nod. If you can, I'm putting the speaker on so I can speak, but it looks like I may have just gone
Okay.
off
So they can hear.
with my headset. But can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Jeff? How about now?
No. What the hell?
Okay.
That's
I
weird.
can hear both of you. Wait, Nathan, Nathan, can you text one more time? Can you hear both of us?
I'm glad you guys can hear, but I can't hear him.
Jeff?
I can see you,
Yeah, all
but I
right.
just
So
can't hear you.
saying that he can hear both of us.
Hold on.
Jeff, check your sounds good. Jeff, check your sound. Sounds good here. So it sounds like you've I can't hear you. So maybe your speaker. Wait, can you speak again, Jeff?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try something.
Yeah, so Jeff is out. But everyone, Nathan, Andrew, you can hear both of us, correct? I'm just going to keep talking then, guys. Thanks for joining us live. We have had Jeff from Up North on. He's been a special guest filling in for Chris, and we are talking about, well, we have talked about a few things. Jeff is in Upper Michigan. Cool. Thank you, Andrew. Jared, check your mic settings. I'm going to in a minute. I can hear both of us. So, Nathan, can you hear both of us still? Anyway, what we were talking about is the Upper Michigan ancient copper mines. That's exactly the heart of the country that Jeff lives in. It's pretty cool. He goes out and actually does work and finds things. Um, oh, great, great. I sound weird now. So, for everyone, I hope you can understand me, Nathan. I hope you can actually. Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you again.
So it looks like for everyone that's joined us,
That
we
was
usually
weird.
have an hour and a half. And since we are having technical difficulties, I want to thank Jeff from Up North being here. And you know what? We will go around Antarctica. We will, we've talked, Brad Olson's been on. He's releasing a new book about this. Chris and I had um, a great interview with him. It's on rkeox.com.
We will be back next week. We have a lot going on, some really exciting guests coming up. Dennis Stone from America's Stonehenge. We have Ascent Nutrition's owner Lance coming back, and we are going to be on Earth Ancients. We will be live on Earth. Well, we will be pre-recording, but we will be released with Earth Ancients about a week and a half from now, and a bunch of other stuff is coming up. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and Jeff and I are going to go bang our heads on backstage after the show. Have a great night, everyone.